Hi everybody, my name is Marcos Cassiano, and I'm here to tell you about some of my tales from the road, all of my adventures, some of my adventures of traveling the highways and byways of the US and Canada and New Jersey. So this next little tale or adventure comes to us from Fort Dix, New Jersey. I lived there for about 4 years. My father was stationed there in the military. And on this particular day, it was a Saturday, and the band that I was playing with was not working, or we weren't rehearsing that day. So I decided, I think I'll go to the movie theater. So there's a little publication we had on the Army base, and I saw where there was a Western movie playing at one theater and another movie which I don't think I could have gone to. I think it was an R-rated movie, so I didn't go to that theater, which was actually a little closer because I had to walk. So I thought, okay, it's a Western. I don't know who was in it. Maybe Charles Bronson or somebody like that. He was popular at the time. So I scrounge up, I look in my drawer, my pants pocket. I find about 35 cents, maybe 50 cents at the most, because the movie cost about 35 back then. So I proceed to walk the long walk to the movie theater. It was about 35 minutes. Fort Dix is a huge Army base. It was a big training base during, I think, World War I, World War II, and they did do some training during Vietnam. So anyways, I arrive at the movie theater after that long trek, and there's a lot of people outside, a lot of like commotion or excitement, you might say. People seem happy for some reason. And I asked people, what's going on? We can't go in? Oh, no, there's no movie here today, they said. Today, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes are playing, and they haven't opened the doors yet. I said, how much is it to get in? They said it's about $1. Well, I only had like maybe 35 cents, 50 cents at the most. So I said, well, I'm out of luck here. So I thought, I'm not going to walk home yet. I'll just hang around the theater, think what's going on. So as I poked my head around the side, there was a side entrance to the theater, because in those days, movie theaters, especially on Army bases, also dubbed as a performing arts theater. They had the movie screen, but they also had a stage where bands would play, like tonight, or they would have a play or something like that. So I walk down there and I see the band unloading their equipment. There was like a couple of cars and it seemed like a van, and they're unloading their equipment. And of course I don't help them, of course. And I remember in particular, they had a Shure Vocal Master PA system, which back then, you were pretty much big time if you had a Shure Vocal Master PA. Of course, back then, we didn't mic the drums or any of the instruments. It was just the vocals, so they take their stuff in, and as they load all their equipment in, I walk into the stage. I'm standing there backstage, and the band, I think, does a warm-up song, and they're getting ready to play. And I think there were curtains, so the curtains were closed. And about this time, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, they come walking in. They had their outfits on they were going to perform in. And I said, wow, okay. I knew who they were because I had seen their pictures before. I think, in those days I'd go to record stores a lot. And since they had a big hit in Philadelphia International Records, they were ruling the charts at this time. So I knew who they were. I recognize them, and I'm actually standing shoulder to shoulder with Harold Melvin because it wasn't like a big area. I was kind of in the way, but they didn't ask me to leave or anything. But I remember they had their game faces on, like they're ready to go out. So there was 5 of them. I remember it was Harold Melvin. I think standing next to him was actually Teddy Pendergrass, who sang on their big hit that they had at the time, If You Don't Know Me By Now, which was later covered in the 1980s by Simply Red. They actually did a good version of the song. So the band opens up, they open up the curtain, the band plays a couple of songs. I remember in particular, I always remember this, was the band played 25 or 6-4, and they just killed it. I remember, like, wow, this band is really good. They had you could just feel their energy, and they were like really good players because they were out of Philadelphia. I don't think any of them played on the record, but they were probably the road band. And so then they make an announcement, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. Of course, the crowd goes nuts because they have a big song. Actually, the song was actually #1 on the soul charts, and I think it was just top 10 on the regular top top 40 radio. They come out, they do their show. I mean, they're just really nailing it. They got just a lot of energy. So one part of the show, they kind of like break it down, bring the energy down. They said, okay, we're going to do our new hit single, If You Don't Know Me By Now. And, you know, of course, the crowd went nuts. They dedicated it to all the ladies. Of course, they all went nuts. And they did their song, maybe a couple songs after that. They go backstage. They like left. I don't remember them hanging around the stage, and I was kind of there, you know, by myself. So I thought, well, I guess it's time to go home. I'm not going to help the band take their stuff down. So it was like a fun evening, because, you know, you go to think you're going to watch a movie, and better than the movie was seeing Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes from backstage, and actually just standing there shoulder to shoulder with them. And it was a lot of fun. But, you know, kind of on a side note, a few years later, maybe 10 years later, I think it was in 1982, you know, Teddy Pendergrass was in a car accident, and he became paralyzed. They said from the chest down. I don't know if he could move his arms. And he actually still did perform and record after that, but his career was never the same. And then I believe he passed away like in 2010. But it's just a reminder that how fragile life is, and how quickly things can change. You know, you're coming home one night, you know, you have a single car crash, you hit a tree, you're paralyzed, and basically, you know, your career is over. You know, because he was coming up on the chart. He was pretty big. So it was kind of sad. But again, it was a great night, great experience, and it was a lot of fun. More later.